Yo, welcome back to the house where we talk news, celebrities, and hot topics. Charlamagne the God versus Anderson Cooper. Let's go.
Going to go. Apparently, Trump's is going to tape a thing with Joe Rogan. Do you think she should do that?
Why would Kamala Harris go on Joe Rogan? 2 weeks out, I wouldn't do not another goddamn interview. Okay? She went on to Fox News against her better judgment. It was a hit job by Bret Baier. Would not let her speak. A week later, she goes on to CNN, Anderson Cooper, town hall. And I was confused. I'm like, is this a town hall? Are the people, the citizens of this nation supposed to be asking her questions? Or is this a debate between Anderson Cooper and Kamala Harris? Is Kamala Harris running against Anderson Cooper or Donald Trump? What's true tea?
I think that she should keep calling Donald Trump a fascist. And I think that Americans need to keep looking at the rhetoric of Donald Trump, because I don't know why we're even thinking about electing somebody who's talking about putting people in camps. I don't know why why we want to elect somebody who's talking about mass deportation. I don't know why we're having this conversation about somebody who wants to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. Aren't we supposed to be a patriotic country?
Now you're cooking, okay? I don't always agree with them, but this right here.
Whenever somebody like Colin Kaepernick takes a knee in this country, everybody talks about, oh, that's so unpatriotic. But a guy can say he wants to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election, and nobody cares. Like even me bringing it up now, you brought it back to Kamala and Joe Rogan. Anderson,
yeah,
who gives a damn?
Who gives a damn? Who gives a damn? She's shifting her positions from 2020. She's not doing interviews. Why isn't she doing interviews? She's not answering the question. She didn't do this. She didn't do that. She didn't seal the deal. What are her policies? She's not talking about her policies enough. Every time Trump says something crazy, the public and the media turn around and try to criticize Kamala Harris about something.
I mean, I think you give a damn who's elected president, and I'm
especially if that president is a fascist. That's talking about putting people in camps.
Why aren't we talking about that?
Talking about, once again, terminating the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. That's talking about, jailing his political opponents. Yeah. Like, that rhetoric doesn't scare people.
Just 3 days ago, he went on to Fox and Friends and said that he wanted to gut the Department of Education, and said that if a school district decided to teach slavery, that he would cease federal dollars to that school. And yet, on Friday, October 25th, we're on television asking, should Kamala Harris go on Joe Rogan?
We talk about this every single. This is what
I don't think
I've been talking about this every night.
I don't think y'all have enough conversations about it. I feel like I heard more on this network about is Kamala Harris black than I do about Donald Trump being a fascist. Well, am I wrong, Angela?
Honestly, that's bullshit. I'm sorry.
Oh, I like that.
I'm not. Look, I'm a huge fan of yours.
Okay.
But to say that we're sitting around discussing is Kamala Harris black, like
I've seen that. I've seen those round table discussions a lot. Now that's bullshit, Anderson. For you to say that y'all don't have those conversations.
I've never asked somebody
I'm not saying you. I said the network.
He said the network.
I don't think anyone I don't think any anchor on this network has been going around saying, "Is she black?"
Y'all have never had
we have had. Look, I'm sure we have had, nutty people or people who have strongly held beliefs who I may disagree with, who somewhere on some panel have said something, but.
Yeah.
I will just speak up for what I do on the show. I do believe it's important to get people different viewpoints as long as they're willing to have a legitimate conversation. What I don't like are surrogates who come out and just spout talking points that they don't even believe, and those are people I try to eliminate from having.
You try to eliminate them from having, them on your show, but yet that's all y'all do at CNN. Y'all both sides everything. And I think normally, that would be okay. Typically, it would be normal to criticize this candidate and then turn around and criticize this candidate. It would be normal to, have a left-leaning voice and a right-leaning voice, and then let's exchange ideas. Typically, that would be normal. But nothing about Donald Trump is normal. Nothing about being twice impeached is normal. Nothing about sending an angry mob to the Capitol, killing Capitol police officers, yelling hang Mike Pence as if they didn't elect the man 4 years prior is normal. Nothing about him being held liable for rape is normal. Nothing about him never apologizing to the exonerated five is normal. Nothing about him discriminating against black people in the 70s is normal. Nothing about him separating children from their families is normal. Nothing about him suggesting that we ingest bleach to cure COVID in human bodies is normal. Nothing about that is normal. And what the public and what the media has been doing since Trump has entered the political space is legitimize him and normalize him. And anyone that tries to run against him, we try to criticize them with the same level of intensity. And to me, that's disingenuous. That's disingenuous. I was having a conversation with a family member not too long ago, and they were basically saying, well, they're both trash. They're both trash. They're both this. They're both that. Had another conversation with a friend, and I was talking about Trump being a pathological liar, and they go, well, all politicians lie. Okay, so that's called a false equivalency, and it's a disingenuous argument. To compare what Kamala Harris has done and said, and I'm sure she's lied, okay? I'm sure she has misled or exaggerated things, okay? But to compare what Kamala Harris has done to what Donald Trump is, which is a pathological liar, is disingenuous. It's a false equivalency. There are people, about 50% of this country, who believe that Kamala Harris has just as many faults as Donald Trump. And the media is a part of the problem, because he can say stuff like he wants to gut the Department of Education. He can say stuff like the thing about the slavery in the schools and withholding the funding. He can say things like he wants to terminate the Constitution. He can say things like there's an enemy within. He can say and do the most egregious things. I can shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and nobody would bat an eye. He can say that neo-Nazis, racists, white nationalists are very fine people. It makes it through one news cycle, and then by the end of the news cycle, they turn around and match that energy and both sides it by criticizing Kamala Harris with the same level of intensity. It is disingenuous, and I'm not standing for it. It's a double standard. And Van Jones said it perfectly last night. He gets to be lawless, and she has to be flawless. And I would go farther to say that in today's political landscape, all Democrats have to be perfect. We have on the Republican side people like Donald Trump. You had the Roy Moore dude a few years ago. You have in this election cycle the Robinson dude who's running, I believe, for governor in North Carolina, and they caught him saying that he was a black Nazi and he wants slavery back. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jewish space lasers. Herschel Walker, who can barely read and write. The GOP has been putting up these crazy extremist, radical, less than smart candidates to run against these normal Democrats. And yet still a Democrat can twitch their eye a little bit or stutter on a word. The media and public then goes crazy. Did a Democrat just twitch their eye? But yet Donald Trump can say the most racist shit, and by the next news day, nobody's talking about it. Huh?
We're on the air again.
I think no network has honest conversations about Donald Trump. Nobody's had honest conversations about Donald Trump since 2016. I saw last night they were talking about, the double standard that exists between Donald Trump and the vice president. But it's always a double standard with Trump, whether it's with Hillary, whether it's, against Biden, now with Kamala. We talk about him being a threat to democracy, but we don't treat him like one.
I don't know what you've been watching, but I don't know of any Trump supporters out there or people who like him who are tuning in to me every night to try to get, to be validated in their opinions. I don't know. I don't know. I disagree.
I don't think it's about validating. What you mean, validating the Trump?
Well, you're saying like that we're not that I guess you're saying I'm not discussing all the things he is saying and doing and pointing it out.
I agree that CNN and a lot of other news outlets, they do discuss the crazy things that he says and does. Okay? I don't think it's a thing of CNN doesn't talk about what he doesn't say. It's a thing of they talk about what he says and what he does and then turn around and grade Kamala Harris, in my opinion, with the same level of scrutiny. I mean, that's just me. That's just me. Yeah. Secondly, and y'all let me know, okay? I do not believe Kamala is above criticism. I do not believe that this election should be a cakewalk. Obviously, it's going to be difficult. She is, in this race for, the biggest job in like ever on planet Earth. The most important job on planet Earth. So it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a cakewalk. And I don't want it to be a cakewalk for her. But I think it's important to know that when we are dissecting her and analyzing her and criticizing her, we have to remind people who she's running against, which is someone who is truly low IQ. Someone who is a rapist and a racist. Someone who is a felon. Someone who is twice impeached. Because to me, if you don't point that out every single time, in my eyes and in my ears, it's as if you're equating the two people. And they're not equal. And second off, I just want to say this. Why are we pretending that CNN hasn't been trying to be conservative leaning, more right leaning in the past 2 years? Why are we acting like there is not a huge effort by whoever manages the cable news network to cut into Fox News viewership and Newsmax viewership? Or News One or OAN, whatever the fuck it is. Why are we acting like that's not happening? Why are we acting like CNN hasn't gone through 2 CEOs in the last 2 years? Why are we acting like they haven't had a spike in Republican talking heads appearing on the network? It is clear to me and everybody else that CNN wants to be more conservative. They want to be seen as more conservative or at least more balanced by way of trying to both sides everything when the two sides aren't equal. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about everything in the comments down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to create a great day.